Growing up, my sister Ashley and I were never close. She was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, the one who got everything she wanted. Me, I was the backup plan. The, oh, you're here too, sibling. It was obvious from a young age that our parents favored her. Every award I won was brushed off as expected. Every minor accomplishment of hers was treated like she just cured cancer. But whatever. I learned to live with it. I built my own life, my own identity, away from the shadows of my perfect sister. Fast forward to last year. Ashley got engaged. Big, dramatic announcement. Flashy ring. A save-the-date card that looked more expensive than my monthly rent. The entire family acted like the royal family was marrying off their precious princess. And then, nothing. No invite for me. I waited. Thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they sent it to the wrong address. Nope. Turns out, Ashley intentionally didn't invite me. When I confronted her, she shrugged and said, "Well, we're keeping it small. Only people who are important to us." Important. I guess growing up together didn't make the cut. I won't lie, it hurt. Not because I cared about the wedding itself, but because it was so obvious that even on her special day, I wasn't considered part of the family she wanted to show off. Fine. I stayed. Home the day of her wedding, binge-watched old sitcoms, and ordered way too much takeout. It was actually pretty peaceful considering. Months passed. Then, 2 weeks ago, out of nowhere, I get a call from Ashley. No. Hello? No? How have you been? No. Sorry for excluding you from the most important day of my life. Just, hey, could you watch the twins for me? We're desperate, and everyone else is busy. I almost dropped my phone. First of all, I hadn't even met her kids yet. Second, she was asking me, the sister she hadn't cared about enough to invite to her wedding, to babysit. For free. When I hesitated, she immediately went into guilt trip mode. "You're family," she said. "Family helps each other." Oh, now I was family? Funny how that works. I told her I'd think about it. Hung up without making any promises. Then, curious, I checked social media. Ashley and her husband had just posted photos from their latest luxury vacation. Sipping margaritas on some private beach while their desperate childcare situation apparently wasn't desperate enough to skip a 5-star getaway. I sat there seething. Was this real life? After everything, after the years of being overlooked, ignored, and treated like an afterthought, she still expected me to drop everything and help her like nothing ever happened. I knew I had a decision to make. But this time, it wasn't going to be the one she expected. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. It wasn't just the wedding, it was everything leading up to this moment. Every birthday party where my gift was an afterthought. Every holiday dinner where I sat quietly while Ashley soaked up all the praise. And now, after cutting me out of one of the most important moments of her life, she had the audacity to expect me to be her free, on-demand babysitter? No, not this time. I decided to call her back. But first, I needed to be calm. I wasn't going to let her spin this and make me feel guilty. I rehearsed what I wanted to say. When she picked up, she sounded fake cheerful. Like she already assumed I'd say yes. "Hey, so when can you come over?" I took a breath. "I can't," I said simply. Silence. "Wait, what? Why not?" I smiled to myself. I had imagined this moment so many times before, standing up for myself, and it felt even better than I thought it would. "I have plans," I said casually. "And even if I didn't, I'm not comfortable babysitting for someone who didn't even think I was important enough to attend their wedding." Ashley scoffed. "Seriously? You're still mad about that? It's not a big deal. It was a small wedding." "You invited over 100 people," I pointed out. "Extended cousins I haven't seen since childhood. But not me." She stammered, clearly caught. "You're being petty," she snapped. "Family should help each other." "Funny," I said. Because that wasn't your attitude when you were writing the guest list. There was another beat of silence. Then her voice changed. Sharper, colder. Fine, she said. Forget it. I'll find someone else. Good luck, I replied, and hung up. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like the spare sibling. I felt like a person with boundaries, and the strength to enforce them. Later that night, my mom called. Of course she did. Ashley must have run crying to her, spinning the story so that I looked like the villain. Can't you just be the bigger person? Mom pleaded. It's just babysitting. I closed my eyes. There it was again, the same old song. The expectation that I should always be the bigger person. Always give, always forgive, while Ashley never had to apologize for anything. I've been the bigger person my whole life, I said. I'm tired of it. Mom was silent for a moment. Then she sighed, disappointed. You're breaking this family apart, she muttered. I laughed bitterly. Maybe it was already broken. I hung up without waiting for a response, and for the first time ever, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. The fallout was immediate. For days after that phone call with my mom, my phone buzzed nonstop. Texts from relatives I hadn't heard from. In-years suddenly flooded in. Most of them were thinly veiled guilt trips. Family is all we have. You should always be there for your sister. You're letting resentment poison you. Not one message asked about my side of the story. Not one person wondered why I was hurt in the first place. It was always the same narrative. Ashley was the victim. I was the problem. Eventually, I turned off my phone. I needed space. I needed peace. And the craziest thing, even though I was painted as the villain in the family, I started feeling lighter. It was like I had been carrying the weight of their expectations for so long that I forgot what it felt like to just breathe. Meanwhile, from what I heard through mutual friends, Ashley scrambled to find someone to babysit. Apparently, she cycled through 3 different sitters in 2 weeks. Each one quit after a few days, complaining about her impossible standards and the fact she refused to pay anyone properly. Big shock there. One evening, about a month after the whole babysitting drama, I ran into an old family friend at a coffee shop, Mrs. Green, who used to live next door to us growing up. She looked at me with kind eyes and said something that stuck with me. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share DNA. I nearly teared up hearing that. Finally, someone who understood. I realized something that day. Family isn't about blood. It's about respect, about effort, about mutual care. Not just taking and expecting loyalty without ever earning it. Ashley, my mom, the rest of them, they never really treated me like family. They treated me like a backup plan, a convenience, a last resort when no one else was available. Not anymore. I focused on my own life, my work, my friendships, my dreams. I started traveling, trying new hobbies, meeting people who valued me. For me, not for what I could do for them. Of course, there were moments of doubt. Late at night, that little voice would creep in. Maybe you were too harsh. Maybe you should have helped. Maybe you are selfish. But deep down, I knew the truth. Choosing myself wasn't selfish. It was survival. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't surviving. I was living. Months passed. At first, my family tried to freeze me out, thinking I'd come crawling back, begging for their approval. I didn't. I built my own life, one free from their endless demands, one where my worth wasn't tied to how much I could sacrifice. And just when I thought they had finally given up, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Ashley. A real handwritten letter. Like it was the 1800s or something. I almost threw it away without reading it. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside, it was exactly what I expected. No apology. No acknowledgement of what she did. Just a long list of reasons why I was wrong and how I had hurt the family. And, of course, a request she needed help again. This time, Her husband had lost his job, and she wanted me to lend her money to cover their mortgage. The audacity. I stared at the letter, stunned at how little had changed. After everything, she still saw me as nothing more than a safety net. Someone to use. I sat down, thought about what I wanted to say, then realized I didn't owe her anything. Not even a response. I tore the letter in half and threw it away. The next day, I booked a trip abroad, somewhere I had always wanted to go but never had the nerve to. Paris, the city of light. I walked along the Seine, stood under the Eiffel Tower, ate pastries in tiny cafes. I laughed. I lived. I felt free in a way I had never known back home. Sometimes, late at night, I thought about the family I left behind. The ones who only loved me conditionally. The ones who never saw me for who I really was. And I felt nothing. No bitterness. No sadness, no guilt, just peace. Because family isn't always the people you're born to. Sometimes it's the people you choose. The life you choose. And I finally chose me.